Hello, I'm Christine Baylor Goodlander, your AMTA National President-elect. I'd like to welcome our speakers today's panel, Essential Elements of Career Services. Here with us are Catherine Brady, Heather Nussbaum, and April Thuriel. I would like to start by asking each of you to please introduce yourself. Catherine, would you please go first?
Of course, thank you. I'm Catherine Brady. I'm currently the coordinator of the massage program at Austin Community College in Austin, Texas, and I am also a massage therapist for almost 18 years now.
Thank you. Heather?
My name is Heather Nussbaum. I'm with a New Beginning School of Massage in Killeen, Texas. I am the CEO of the school, as well as an exercise therapist and a massage therapist, and I teach at the school as well.
Beautiful. April, let's hear about you.
Hi, my name's April. I'm the campus manager at the Studio City location of National Holistic Institute. I've been doing massage for over 14 years now and been teaching for over 10. So loving what I do.
Thank you, Catherine, Heather, and April. We are here today to learn about the valuable career services our panelists provide to their students. I know you will find some things to bring back and implement at your schools. So let's begin with you, Catherine. How do you prepare massage therapy students for various practice settings? Know that many will change work settings throughout their career.
Isn't that true? I think everybody can relate to changing their career from what you started with to what you are now. And so what we do at our school is we really get our students a taste of a lot of different modalities. We want them to see what's out there. We encourage our students to go to open houses at local spas and salons and establishments. We also bring in people from the public to talk to our students. And so what we do, most recently, we had a local spa come in, and they were able to talk to our students about what's expected of them, what's happening in their spa, what their favorite services are, and even their target demographic. And then we also poll the audience. We ask them, what are you interested in? So if they're interested in something that possibly our staff doesn't do personally, we go out in the public and find somebody that does. And so we bring them in as guest speakers. So we want to make sure that everybody has the modality, at least a taste of it, or a contact out there in the field locally that they can connect with after they leave us. And we all know that all therapists are different. So the same cookie cutter type of place is not going to work for every single therapist. And so we want to make sure that we give them those options.
Great. April, how do you prepare your students?
So everything that Catherine said as well, with the different modalities and giving them different opportunities to meet employers. I think at our school, we also have clinic where they get to work on the public, and that really shows them not only customer service, but we have them do front desk. We have them do the full intake form. So whether they're going to be working at a chiropractor or even just at a spa, they know how to communicate with their clients in those different formats. And then also a big part of our curriculum is externship hours. So we encourage them to go to an extern site, whether again it be a chiropractor, spa, physical therapist, acupuncturist, whatever their journey is. And we encourage for them to try different ones that they don't think that they'll want to do, so they can really get to know if maybe they're being judgmental before they even have a chance to try it out. So if they're into sports, try out a spa. You might surprise yourself. If you're a spa person, try a chiropractor. So just giving them the different options and let them make the decision that they feel best and supported in.
Great. Heather, how about you?
Well, similar to both Catherine and April, we talked about this the last time. We all kind of do, like in our programs, we give a little bit of everything. And we tell our students right up front, when you go in for an interview and that employer asks you, what do you think about whatever it is, even if it's not something that they're really familiar with and they really loved, we want them not to just sit there and go, oh, I have no idea what that word means. And so we really try to give them a little bit of everything. We also, for us, we also make sure every single class has multiple instructors. And so if they're getting massage theory for Swedish, they're going to have at least 3 to 4 instructors that are going to teach them those modalities, because each instructor, like we always tell students, it's a science as well as an art. So they're going to get the science, like a deltoid is a deltoid is a deltoid, but then we're going to have each instructor with their individual backgrounds be able to explain to them like how they apply the art. And so that gives them that diversity. We also bring businesses in at the end of our 500, which is the first portion of our program. And we have those businesses come in and we ask them not to talk about, we have this job available, because obviously they're going to talk about that. But we also ask them to talk about their history. Where have they worked? What experiences have they had? To be able to give students maybe some questions that they may not have thought to ask, and to give them a source to source those questions to.
Great. So speaking of practice settings, are you noticing any new patterns or trends in workplace preferences? For example, are more graduates practicing in healthcare settings or working as sole practitioners than they had in the past years? April, what do you think?
I don't know if there's been a great change through it. Honestly, going through COVID, I think has changed a lot of how approaching the industry is going. I think private practice for our students has always been a high amount, but the great thing about massage is you don't have to just do one. You could have, 2 or 3 different employers and try different areas. And I would say right now we have about, I don't know, maybe 5 to 6 employers come to every graduation just to put in their bid, in a sense, to the
Nice.
graduates. And that's always been a great concept, to be able to bring the employer to the students instead of the students having to seek them out. And so I would say spas are still a huge part of it, but I don't think private practice would ever go out of style for massage therapists.
Great. Catherine, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
I think, touching on what April said, the gig economy as a whole has grown. And so therapists have more options than ever where they could work. When I started 18 years ago, you had Massage Heights and Massage Envy, and that was about it. There was no other choices, really. And so now students have this choice, this field out there that they can make their own. And what April was saying is, you don't have to choose one. You don't have to just choose one. You could work with different target demographics. You could work at different spas and salons. But what I have seen recently is a more of an acceptance in the medical and healthcare fields. I recently had 2 graduates start at a rehabilitation clinic for post surgical rehabilitative clients, so reconstructive clients. And so they're going in and they're focusing on lymphatic work. And the doctors are prescribing it, and they are seeking out massage therapists to help them with this other work. And so I think with the addition and the acceptance of massage in a lot of the healthcare facilities, hospitals have massage therapists on staff now. And so there's definitely a rise and a gain in gainful employment in a lot of the bigger medical centers out there.
Great. Do you recommend that your students find a mentor to help them learn about practice settings that they're interested in? Heather, do you find mentors helpful?
Oh, most definitely. We highly encourage, because the entire concept of a mentor is to find somebody who's already done what you want to do. And, we've all, in some portion of our career, done it the hard way. Tripped over the steps that we didn't really need to trip over. If someone could have just told us, step up or go around it, use the elevator, and that mentoring concept gets those students the ability to link up with somebody. We do a program within our, or a kind of a class within our program that's a double testing point. Right before the students start practicing on the public, we do what we call an LMT review. And then when they hit their roughly their 500-hour point, they do a second LMT review. And what we do is we actually go out into our local LMTs and we have them come in and the students actually work on an LMT. And it's not somebody that they're comfortable with because they've already been at the school. It's especially that first LMT review, like they've never talked to them. And we encouraged the students and the LMT to build a relationship, to have that person that they can call and ask a question to, or when they get out in the field, to have that person they can kind of link back to say, hey, I went in this direction, but I'm thinking about going in that direction. What do you think about this employer or that employer? Or how do I get this knowledge that I don't feel like I have?
Great. Catherine, what do you think?
As Heather said, there is no need to recreate the wheel. It's been done, and some of us have had those stumbling blocks, and that knowledge needs to be passed on to the new generations, right? We've all done really silly stuff before. Like, why did I do that? We should tell people about it. And what we do here is we also encourage our employers. A lot of our employers, it's almost like a big brother, big sister program. And so a lot of our employers will bring in people, they'll be training, and they're assigned a person, not as a lead, but as a mentor within the company. Like, this is your person. You go talk to this person. This person's going to help you out. It's going to show you the ropes, and they're known for being able to give that feedback and to have that helpfulness. And we also encourage, in a classroom setting, we have this nice beehive. Everybody's doing what they want to do, and it's very social. And that day they graduate, they're not going to school anymore. And so they don't have that sense of community. It's gone, like in a heartbeat. And so we really encourage our students to find that sense of community, to join social networking groups, to attend like AMTA chapter events, to really go out there and be part of the community, because it can be lonely if you don't, and you have to actively go and search that out.
Wonderful. Now I'd like to take a moment and talk about your students. What qualities do your most successful graduates possess? April, can you let us know?
I would say tenacity. I would think that would be one of the biggest things. Dedication. Like, it's one thing to have the passion for massage. It's honestly quite easy to have passion for massage. You're helping others. You're increasing somebody's quality of life. Everybody's always happy to see the massage therapist. So it's really easy to be passionate about your job, but to then have the dedication and the patience, especially if it's private practice, it takes a lot, So those students that show up every day, that work on their communication style with their classmates and their teachers, that do what they can to help their fellow classmates out just for any, reason, just be helpful. Those are the ones I see that are successful. We get plenty of passion, but until you actually put that passion to work and really see the struggle that it can be, sometimes you don't know the strength of someone until they really try at it. And I think you can see that when they're a student trying, just as a student, to get through the challenges they have.
Great. Catherine, how about your students?
The passion's easy. And what April says is right. Nobody's sad to come see a massage therapist. So it's a good thing. But I think the most successful graduates are the ones that are willing to receive feedback. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that are saying, I'm learning. They're the ones that give themselves grace to learn. We've all seen the students, they're like, I'm struggling. I just can't get this one stroke, or I can't drape that leg right. But the ones that do the best are the ones that give themselves the grace and the ability to receive really good feedback and to receive it for what it's worth. I also think that the students that do the best are the ones that know there's always room to grow. There's always room to add something else. There's always room to add another stroke or another modality. And the last one is, I like this saying, is an attitude of gratitude. To have gratitude for your training, for your own knowledge, for the client that's in front of you, and for being part of this community. It's gratitude. An attitude of gratitude, I think, is really important.
How do your teachers help your students cultivate these qualities? Heather, can you start us off?
Well, from day one, part of what we always do is we work on the why. So we ask the students why. We encourage the students to ask why, not just, this is the box you check if your client says this is what you do, but to have them ask the why question so that they get into that habit of wanting to learn, about needing to learn, and about understanding that just because their client said it's the left shoulder that's the issue, that they ask the why questions for the things that maybe their client didn't put on the intake form. That those extra information, that again, that desire to learn, because what you find is you have those, we all have them in all the professions out there, those people that just know they know everything. And that is probably about the worst thing we can put a therapist out there, is that therapist that goes, I have learned everything there is to know. Because 1 year out of school and they're going to be so different than they were on the day that they graduated. Our students that finish the 500-hour program, and then our students that finish the 600-hour program, that extra 100 hours is like night and day. And so just being able to explain to them and to get them to internalize, ask why, understand that they don't know all the answers, and that there's always something that they can learn from every situation, even if what they're learning is, I don't ever want to do that again, that didn't go well.
Great. April, what do you think?
I would say we give them the tools to best learn from, in the sense of, many times our students, there's many people out there in the world who don't know even as simple as SMART goals, like how to set your SMART goals and how to start planning. So we have classes, time management, and that a lot of massage therapists and people need nowadays. We have classes about success, building those SMART goals, getting your affirmations, things of that. That's that mental part of it. A lot of times that is a block for people more than the physical act. It's the fear of failure, the fear of success, the not having the support system that people need as anybody does to be successful. So we give them those tools. We also have classes that continue to build their knowledge, like business finance. I'm blanking on some of our classes, but just classes, marketing, things of that nature that not a lot of schools really go into the business of it. And massage is a business, so we have to give them those tools that they need to be successful in that business. So I would say the teachers do that, the curriculum does that, and the mentor program we have on our campus really gives those students that time to bend an ear of a mentor and find out, again, as these wonderful ladies said, not trying to change the wheel, but see how your peg fits in the wheel. So I think that's how we continue to do it.
Great. So as we know, students look to graduate and launch their massage career. It can be very stressful. Catherine, what type of self-care tips would you offer to students and new grads as they start their career?
I always say, do as I say, not as I do, as all massage therapists can tell you. We're not usually as good to ourselves as we should be. And what we do in the beginning, it's all body mechanics. To this day, I still have an instructor that was with me that I've done some chair massage with. And if my shoulders go up when I'm doing a chair massage, I'll look over at him and all of a sudden my shoulders come right back down. So, because I'm focused on those body mechanics. But what we do is we really talk about and give them options to take care of their own bodies. So all the things that we're training them how to do, or how to recommend stretches or hot and cold therapies and hydrotherapies to your clients, everything we tell our clients to do, we should be doing ourselves as well. And we also encourage people to go and get massage. Again, you're in a bubble when you're in massage school. You're getting massages sometimes 3 to 4 times a week. And then all of a sudden it's gone and your body is craving that touch and that massage. And so we encourage our students to stick together to maybe have monthly meetups and have massages and become the client. Take the massage hat off and actually become the client and take care of yourselves, because our bodies are the only thing that's going to get us through this. This is not something where we get to sit behind a desk. We got to take care of ourselves. And what I love is that there's so many different types of people in massage, ages, demographics. And I love it when I see somebody who's been in the field for 30 years and they're still going strong. And so you're like, this is why, because they took care of themselves. If they didn't take care of themselves, they're not going to do this. So we like to give them examples of people that have been in the field. And then we even bring them in to talk about how they take care of themselves.
Beautiful. April, what do you think?
Agree 100% with Catherine. One, I tell students, to get massages, and they always ask, how many would you recommend? I was like, at least one. Like, just get one a month. If you could do more, fantastic. But my tell, when I know it's ready, a time for me to get a massage, is when I'm massaging a client and I start feeling a little like mad about it. I'm like, why do you get a massage? Why are you feeling good? When I get that mental thought, I'm like, you know what, it's probably time for me to relax a little bit. So letting them know that there is a sense of that burnout that you could get if you constantly go, go, go. So block out time for vacation, block out time for rest. And also, one of my biggest things I harp on is body mechanics. I have so many alumni come back. It's like, when I hear you in my head, when I tilt my neck or when my shoulders are up, I'm like, I'm glad you hear something. So it's always weird to hear voices, but it's okay if it's my voice. But I think it's body mechanics. But one of the things we do is we ground in before class, a majority of our classes on campus. And it's such a new concept. Well, maybe not new anymore, but I know when I went to school, it was a new concept of meditating, of grounding in, of giving yourself even just 5 to 10 minutes of your own self inner peace. So I do highly encourage meditation for students because I think a lot of times we have so many distractions and there's so many mental health, anxiety, depression, all those things that are real issues. And I think it's even been blown up even more because of COVID and people finding those stressors. But to give yourself that meditation, that grounding in before you start your day or even before you start a massage, you're giving yourself that little bit of inner peace that I think our mental state really could use.
Beautiful. Okay, I really like this next question. It's becoming more powerful for students to create networks, and geography is no longer an issue because of our technology. Heather, what are the most important relationships that you have developed with members of your community, and how do those relationships help your graduates?
Well, a couple of different. Our first is just with our alumni themselves. We encourage our alumni to come back. And part of what that is that we want to see how they're succeeding. We want to help them if they run into any stumbling blocks. But the other thing it also shows is it shows our current students, our alumni coming back. They see those alumni and they are able to, start to build their own relationships with those alumni that are coming into the school to visit the instructors or to let us know how things are going. We've also reached out to local businesses, massage businesses and non-massage businesses, because both of them are important for us to have a relationship with. Obviously, the massage industry ones are obvious. We want to have that relationship so that that's where our students are going, a lot of our students. But also, we get feedback from them. They tell us, this last group of students that you sent to us, like they did this amazing, like whatever you guys changed in your teaching pattern, like these students like really got this one thing or, different stuff like that. So it allows us to actually be able to go back into our curriculum and go, okay, did we change something, or was this group, they just picked up something that the other groups just didn't quite pick up as well? And then the non-massage businesses, they are our clients. They're the ones that are going to be coming to our students. They're the ones that come into our clinic. They're the ones that some of them actually follow our students when they leave our school clinic and go out into the real world. I always laugh when I'll have a student come to us and go, oh my gosh, they want to know where I'm going. I'm not allowed to do that, right? I'm like, I've never told you can't tell your clients where you're going. I'm like, if you have rebooks and your rebook gets to the end of your clinic time and they're like, I want to follow you, I'm like, let them follow you. We're always going to have clients that want to come for a student valued massage. There's always going to be that person that's the price point they want to hit. I'm like, if you can take a rebook and take it with you, what an awesome thing to walk into a brand new employer with a client that is going to be a rebook. Like, just amazing. So, yeah.
Hey, Catherine, what about you?
We do kind of the same thing. We engage the public. I just had a young man graduate. He's 19 years old, and he had 5 job offers from the people we have invited in. And so, and it just makes my heart sing. 19, 5 job offers. He got to pick where he wanted to go. So we bring people in, and then also we ask them, what do you need? Like, what are you seeing from your employees? And we go out and we ask and say, what can we do better? And so they bring that feedback back into us. And the other thing that we do is we do a lot of community involvement. We try to do chair massage jobs and like events. And so most recently we did we called it the Mammo Mixer, and it was for employees of the community college, and it was to encourage people to go get their mammograms. So it was a spa day. So we were invited to do chair massage. So it was like a little lounge. People got their mammograms and they got a massage. And what that also did, it allowed people to see a hospital, people to see an event. So our students, they were able to leave and know how to set up an event. And so the other things I also encourage with technology and videos. I love going down the hallway and seeing a student watching a YouTube video on a technique. I encourage using that stuff. I mean, it's out there. I mean, we didn't have that when we were coming through, and so use the technology, use your contacts in the field, because they're all there and they want to help you, especially employers. They want good employees, and they want them now.
So on a related topic, April, how do you support your alumni network?
How do we support our alumni network? We try to stay as in contact with them as possible, because it is true. They are 100% our referral bank. They're the ones who are going to send us the students that get the true story of what it's like to be a student. I graduated from the school I teach at and manage, and it still could come off as an employee selling a school, right? But if somebody who just graduated from it can tell you about it, it could be almost the same exact words that I have. It sounds different because it's like their peer. So we encourage them to come and be teacher's assistants. One that could also maybe introduce us to some people who could be great teachers at some point. But also they get to share their stories with their classmates or other students from other groups. I would also say, we have them help out at special events sometimes. We just had a special event this weekend, and one of our alumni was there to supervise, and she'll be supervising at one of our sports events we're having next weekend. And I think it's just so important to continue that communication. We want to give the current students a pool of people they could reach out to. So we even have a potential student or a current student that's like, I'm really into lymphatic therapy, or I'm really into working on bicyclists. I can go through my Rolodex of alumni and connect them with each other. Hey, this person's really interested in this. Do you mind talking to them about your journey? And we have some great alumni that is always willing to give that extra 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is, to talk to someone, just to make them feel more confident in their decision and give them best practices for what they're searching for. So keeping that community is 100% important to our company.
Now, Heather, you touched on your alumni, but how do you support them?
We also do similar things to what April was saying, but we also do an alumni Facebook page. which there's always that slice of people that don't actually do Facebook. But I always laugh when those people that are like, we don't do Facebook, and all of a sudden, like, I'm getting a Facebook request from them to join our alumni group. And I'm like, I thought you didn't do Facebook. But we use that as a way to, one, help to highlight what everyone's doing well. So if somebody is doing well at a place, then we encourage them to post that. But we also use that as a funnel for openings in local businesses. If our alumni have an opening at their organization, we encourage them to post it so that they know that that's a place that they can go to get that information. We also try to encourage the students to see us as a portal for continuing education so that they can come to us to find out if we're not doing it, who in the area might be doing some continuing ed, or if they're looking for something in particular, like where is that at? And if they have questions, we have a true open door policy when it comes to our alumni. Please come back. We have a set schedule that 3 months after they graduate, if you haven't called us, we will call you. Like, this is what is going to happen. At graduation, we just recently had a graduation, and that was actually part of my spiel as we were closing things out. I'm like, if you don't call us and tell us, like, how'd your test go? How'd your first job go? Don't worry, we will call you. Like, that is what will happen at 3 months. We will call you. So we do that. We just try to keep that community going because, like Catherine said earlier, when those students graduate, they go from having this close-knit family environment that they may not even realize they have to being completely on their own. And so just to kind of give them that touch point to come back to.
Nice. Very nice. So I'm going to switch gears up a little bit and ask you this question. Catherine, how do you assist your students in obtaining their state massage license or their board certification?
I think we start the very first day. The very first day, orientation, we're telling them the rules of the school, what we're expecting of them, and this is what you're going to be doing. And it's not that far away in most cases. And so we demystify the process. We demystify it. We talk about the MBLEX. We talk about the MBLEX as not as this strange entity that everybody's scared of. It's these people are here to help. Look at all the great stuff they do. Most recently, they actually even came in and talked to my classroom, and so that was really nice. They have a lot of tools, so we make sure that they understand that the tools they have available to them very beginning. We use AMTA's website. We use the MBLEX's online check. And then, each state's going to be different. Each state's going to, like in Texas, we have a jurisprudence exam. And we demystify the jurisprudence exam. And we tell them what it is and what to look for. But we start that on day one. And personally, and I think a lot of schools have done this, we make our tests harder than the state boards. We want them to think while they're with us. And then when they go take those tests, they're like, oh, we learned how to think. We learned how to think critically. Those critical thinking skills need to be instilled very beginning. Like, figure out what is this question actually saying? Most of the state exams, each question is basically a massage word problem. The train leaves at this station and it's going this way. What time does it arrive? This is, put body parts into it, and it's the same thing. And so you really have to think critically, and that's a big struggle for a lot of students. And one more thing is, I encourage students that have those disabilities, those known ADA accessibility issues, to embrace those. A lot of people don't use those, and with tests like the MBLEX and the state boards, there are resources that they need to use and to tap into, and not to be embarrassed to use those, because we want them to be successful.
April, how do you assist your students?
Yeah, so right now, the state of California does not require any testing. So it's a little easier for us right now. But when we did have MBLEX, we did implement a few things to get students prepared for it. So we continue what we did just because they move, right? Many other states do require the MBLEX, or we encourage students to still take the MBLEX in case they plan on getting certified somewhere else as well. So we do use the AMTA MBLEX training test, and they have to turn in assignments for different subjects in order to go towards their GPA. So that's one step. Another thing is we do also start early. We tell them from enrollment to their first day, what the requirements are. And then when they are in their second term, so starting their 401 hours, because they've already done 400, they are, we have a class called Career Launch, where we talk about all things CMTC, all things national board, MBLEX, insurance, things of that nature. So again, getting their brain ready for it. Every 2 weeks, students get a progress report so they know what their attendance is, they know what GPA they have. So then when it is time to get certified, they are on top of it. We have our student services department that is consistently reaching out to those students that have hit their hours to start their certification process. And lastly, in one of our clinics towards the end of their program, once we know majority of students would be hitting the required amount of hours, we block out one of the sessions just so that the student services can have time to go in there and have them fill out their applications right there and then, and answer any questions that they may have, and then schedule appointments with them as needed to finish up those missing things that they need for certification. So we're in it all the way and until they get certified, and then we cheer them on when they do. So it's a long process from day one to when they get the final button to push, but they appreciate the fact that we spend that time to do it.
So job placement is very important to our students. And Heather, what type of support does your program offer graduates in this area?
Well, for job placement, we're a smaller school, so we don't have like an entire department that does job placement. But one of the keys that we do is the last 2 days, so basically our day 89 and 90 of the 500-hour portion of the program, we actually have local businesses come in. And part of, I said earlier, part of what it is to give them, questions to ask and answer. But part of it is to give them those areas to explore. Who's looking for jobs? What jobs are out there? We actually even have some employers come in that don't actually directly hire massage therapists. And it sounds kind of strange, but those employers like chiropractic offices that don't have in-house massage therapists. And we have them come in to encourage the students to understand, like, what do you need to do to become a partner with me? Not just how do you interview and get a job, but if you're going to partner with me, if you want me to send you referrals, what does that look like? How do you build that relationship? How do you make that a successful give and take? And that's something that a lot of times, we do all the soft skills and we talk about the soft skills, show up in, clothes that don't look like you just pulled them off the floor, and, that your hair is brushed, or, those little things that seem to some of us to be, intuitive, like that's just what you would do, but it's not. Like, not everybody hits all of those places. And so we have those non-massage therapist businesses come in to really say, like, this is how you can be a better partner and increase the probability of partnering with us. The LMT that I've talked about a couple of times, we use that as well because, again, those local therapists that are already out in the field that are coming in and working with the students, that's another avenue for them to go out and build that network and to have more areas to explore into and job placements to find.
April, how do you address that?
So again, starting from the curriculum itself, as Heather said, not everybody is accustomed to what it takes to even go for an interview. They might have never even built a resume before, so we have a resume class for them to do that. And a massage resume is different than many other resumes, so we want to make sure that they know the best way of highlighting their skills. We also do classes like skills to land a job is what it's called, but it's literally leading them up to do a practice interview where they're being interviewed by someone, going through the questions of an interview and giving them the best practices on how to answer and remain composed in a interview session. And then twice in the program, we have a practice interview class where they are literally giving the massage and one of their students is pretending to be the hiring manager and giving them feedback based on that massage. So they know quality of touch, they know pressure, they know flow, all of those things before they even start interviewing for places. As I mentioned, we have employers that come to graduation We also have 3 times a year a career fair where we bring up to 12 employers onto campus and invite not only, of course, current students, but alumni to come to that career fair and meet other employers and talk to other job opportunities out there. And one of my favorite things about the career fair is many times the employers are past alumni. Mm-hmm. So that's always great. Either it's their own practice or they are the lead therapist or hiring manager for that particular spa. And so that's always great to see their smiling faces. We check in with them within 30 days to see if they are working. And if not, how can we assist that? You know, how can we help them? Do they need to come in and get another refresher on resume? Do they need a few contacts and names that they can reach out to? So we try to give them as much of the know with all to do it, but it's really up to the student themselves to then again put it to action and get that job themselves.
So, personal experience. Okay. What do you think is the most important advice that you can offer your graduates based on your personal experience? April, what do you think?
I would say one of the things I usually repeat over and over again is to ask for the business. It's one thing to be a good massage therapist. It's another thing to be good at customer service and all the administrative things that come with owning a business or working in a spa. But if you don't ask for it, people are going to get busy with their lives. So instead of waiting for them to rebook with you, before they walk out that door, you rebook with them. So I always tell students, right in that moment, say, do you want a massage in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks? Find the pattern that works for the client, but then book it. And they're like, oh, I need to check my schedule. And I'm like, that's fine. You can check your schedule, but I'm going to go ahead and mark you down for this time. And if anything changes, then let me know and we can update it. But it's very rare for somebody to then cancel that massage. Or if they do cancel, it's usually a reschedule instead. So you don't lose out on a client. So I would say that probably was the biggest lesson of a recent graduate starting her own business was not being afraid to get turned down. You don't have to be everybody's therapist. That's the great thing is there's a therapist for every client. So be okay with maybe it wasn't the right pressure for that person or the type of modality they wanted. But there will be clientele for you if you just ask for the business.
Great advice. Catherine, what do you think?
I think it's super important and something that I've done and I didn't even realize I was doing is I have not stopped learning. I'm always learning. I'm always nerding out about a muscle or an organ system, and it's funny because my kids will see me and I'll have a book open. They're like, oh, she's at it again, right? So I'm always learning. I'm always learning how this puzzle is put together, and so it's like that lifelong learning. Take CE classes, but take CE classes that make you learn something, that add to your knowledge base. Seek out the things that you're passionate about, and know. April touched on this a little bit with burnout. Burnout happens. Have a plan. So learn, but then have a plan when you do get tired. Know what you're going to do. Know the signs of, you know what, I need a vacation, or in my case, a cruise. I just came back from a cruise. Learn those patterns with yourself, and honor that. And the last thing is to not be overworked. Sometimes I still see clients. I still have clients that I saw in internship. So they've followed me and I'm super honored by that. But sometimes on that Sunday when I'm working full time and then I go to my clinic on a Sunday and I'm like, I need to talk to my boss about booking these appointments. I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. So we want to make sure that we're honoring our time and our space as well.
So Heather, what's your advice to your graduates?
I have a couple of different things. My background is I actually run multiple businesses outside of the massage school, and so I'm very deeply in the business side of it. And so one of them is the don't stop learning. Like you cannot learn enough in life if you just keep asking why and you just keep looking for that new thing, that next thing, not necessarily to be on the front edge of the trend, but like that thing that you just didn't catch the first 6 times around. That the minimum requirement for the state of whatever that is where you're at is a minimum. It's not a stretch goal. I have students that come to me and they're like, well, how many continuing education hours do you do a year? I'm like, I have double digits of licensures and certifications. I'm like, I do in excess of 200 hours of CEs every year just to meet all those requirements. And they're always shocked. And I'm thinking, but I'm always doing the whole, oh, but there was that other one that I just really wanted to do and I just didn't get a chance to do. And the last thing that I always tell people is, don't just, like we talked about mentors, but coaches are also really important, because a mentor is someone who's where you want to be, but a coach is the one that asks you the hard questions, that challenges, are you really doing what you think you should be doing? I have a business coach, that I utilize, and it's not because they're going to tell me anything I don't already know from a business standpoint. Like, I teach business. That's what I do. I've been in business for, almost 30 years. Like, that's what I do. But they remind me and they challenge me to do those things that I maybe don't take the time for and don't honor myself and say, I know that I need to take this hour once a week to sit down to plan things out. I need to remember to say no. And I need to remember the value of my service, whatever it happens to be. But that coach that challenges you, that doesn't just say, attaboy, good job, or this is what you should do next. It actually challenges you to say, is that really your best choice? Could you maybe do more than what you think you can?
Fantastic. Well, thank you, ladies, Catherine, Heather, April, for an engaging session. We really appreciate each of you sharing your expertise on how to prepare students and new graduates as they begin their careers in massage therapy. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to give a huge thanks to all of our speakers and panelists today. And on behalf of AMTA, I want to thank each of you for attending this year's Virtual School Summit. I hope your time here today will prove valuable to you, your school, and your students. If you know of a friend or a colleague who wasn't able to participate today, I want you to know that today's individual sessions will be available on AMTA's website in November. You can find them along with a large portfolio of free online courses for teachers. AMTA is about community, and I thank you for being a part of ours and joining us for this year's School Summit. We look to the future with hope and optimism because of each of you. Thank you again.